Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. Today is the 23rd of April 2025. These are the stories that we'll be highlighting in the course of the show. We'll begin with the Indian false flag operation in Pahalgam and of course how it has been exposed through the Indian media itself and through its trajectory of previous false flag operations that have happened. Pakistan has seen this before. Pakistan continues to see it with this incident as well, and the fact is that if you look at how this incident evolved and how the Indian media was within minutes posting with different hashtags on the social media platforms, shows that there was a deliberate intent to malign Pakistan, to destabilize Pakistan, as if what they're doing in Balochistan or what they're through their proxies or what they're doing in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa through their proxies is not enough. This and more will be highlighted in our first segment. Our second story, ladies and gentlemen, today concerns the relationship between Turkiye and Pakistan in the of course, in the whole context of the visit of our Prime Minister Sharif, this 2-day official visit to Turkey. Many important details were finalized during this visit, and of course the reiteration of the strong brotherly bonds that exist between the two brotherly countries. This will be our second story. Let's begin with our first. It's a big one, ladies and gentlemen, and that concerns the false flag operation that we all have been witness to, and how it has been contorting and distorting it to malign Pakistan and to involve Pakistan. It is not the first time it has happened, and the way India has been going on, I don't think it will be the last time. We have been joined by two guests in the studios to highlight that in more detail. On my right is Dr. Asma Khawaja. She is the Executive Director of CISS in Azad, Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you very much, Dr. Sahiba, to have joined us. Our second guest is our very dear friend, Brigadier Retired Masud Ahmed Khan Sahab. He's a defense analyst and a regular on our show. Thank you very much, Brigadier Sahab. It's a pleasure to have you here because we get to know the real facts and figures through you. We'll begin with Asma. Dr. Asma, let's begin with the analysts. Analysts claim that this Pahalgam attack, in which 26 people lost their lives and others were injured, is a false flag operation which has been carried out by Indian agencies. I'm just starting with how the facts are and how people are saying it. Why is there growing suspicion that India always orchestrates such incidents to deflect from its failures in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir?
There are certain technical reasons for that, but before starting answering your question, I pay my condolences to the families of people killed in this sad incident. See, number one reason why people, why analysts are saying that it may be a false flag operation, because that place is quite far from the LOC, and it is not easy to approachable region. And if we see the history of that area, there were no such incidents as well of such activity, or unfortunately, like this region was only famous for tourism, and such thing never happened there. So that is why people are saying that when this is a difficult terrain, not easy to approach, how Pakistan or any foreign country can build this several hundred miles logistical support and launch or this operation there. And then when what 900,000 Indian military forces are doing there, if their agencies, their military, their paramilitary forces, their police, they are unable to prevent any such act, then I think the heads of all those organizations should resign or fired and should be trialed under Indian Penal Code. Then there is another important thing, the way Indian government and media is reacting to that. It looks like what happened during Jafar Express incident, terrorism act, that it looked as if Indian media is fully prepared for this thing, and they immediately started using their cards against Pakistan, against the sovereignty and integrity of Pakistan. And this time as well, the moment this incident happened, Indian media was again on their toes to blame Pakistan. It is, even if there is a simple murder in the street, in your street, it is not easy to point your fingers to the culprits. So it means that the script was already given to Indian media. Then another thing that Indian media is saying that Mr. Modi is coming back from Saudi Arabia, shortened his trip to Saudi. But why, when Manipur was under fire, is under fire, when the hundreds of thousands of Christians were killed in Manipur and other region, why Modi didn't visit that area like more than 1 year when the genocide was going on there? So this hype created by Indian media reflects upon that the way BJP and Mr. Modi has invested on to create Indian nationalism, on the hatred against Pakistan and Muslim. They want to take benefit of that. They want to reinstigate this hyper nationalism for some political benefits in the local sphere and at international
And of course,
sphere.
and that is what
this is
please,
sorry,
go ahead.
like Pakistan provided all evidences of Indian involvement in Jafar Express attack.
Yes.
There are evidences of India's use of Afghan soil again to launch operations against Pakistan. And this act, what happened in Pahalgam, can be Modi or Doval's act to hide India's involvement and to detract public's or international community's attention against Pakistan, because right now if you see the way international community responded to Jafar Express attack, terrorist attack, that was really like heartwarming to see that people can feel our pain. But now this act can detract people's sympathies for Pakistan. Another important thing, that Pakistan's Mineral Conference, international Pakistan's this PSL matches, all these things are giving the lowest inflation rate, are giving the impression that Pakistan is stabilizing when it comes to politics.
And that is what India doesn't want.
That is so this one act, and whenever such false flag operation takes place, that serves multiple interests of Modi region.
All right. My next question has two parts to it, Brigadier Masud Saab. Firstly, why hasn't the Indian government released any conclusive evidence linking Pakistan to the Pahalgam incident? Because within 20 to 30 minutes, we saw the reaction coming on social media. Secondly, why does Indian media ignore internal security failures and instead always rushes to blame Pakistan when evidence is lacking? My second part of the question is, how significant is the timing of this incident, because J.D. Vance is in India at this moment? If we go a little bit in the past, in the year 2000, the former US President Bill Clinton was on his visit to India when there was an attack and 36 Indians were killed, and then also India had falsely blamed Pakistan for it. Your take on this?
So we can start with the visit of President Clinton. It was on 18 March 2000 when he was the first US President in 22 years to visit India. So that night in the village of Chatti Singhpura in Anantnag, Islamabad, 35 Sikhs they were killed. So next morning, so President Clinton was told the Pakistanis, they infiltrated and they killed so and so. But it was established in 2017, the one who carried out the initial investigation as an inquiry, General Gill, he made a public statement who is on record. He said it was the BJP who basically planned and executed this massacre of Sikhs. Second, importantly, there is a book written by Madeleine Albright, Madam Secretary. The foreword of that book is written by Clinton. He said it was Hindu militants who carried out the massacre of Sikhs. He decided he should have avoided that visit. So that is the fact that this is whole concept of false flag operation. Even in the Pulwama, if we go in details, we can link this thing. And by statements made by Satyapal Malik, who is on record, he said he cautioned, he informed Modi, and Modi just conveyed, shut up, close your mouth. Similarly, Prashant Bhushan, another important person, he said it was inside job, and then it was Arnab Goswami's Republic TV. Within 5 minutes of the Pulwama attack, he was the one who broke the news. So he was in line. So Rao was feeding the information to Arnab Goswami, so and so. So we have the evidence. Even 2016, this Pathankot attack, then when Prime Minister of Pakistan was to address General Assembly, this attack was carried out, and then again Pakistan was blamed. So the designs are to malign Pakistan and portray Pakistan a country sponsoring terrorism. So that is the basic motive. As far as the intelligence, the chief of one of the former chiefs, he recently made a statement about an hour back, General VP Malik. He said it was a massive intelligence failure. Pahalgam is an area flooded by the tourists. So there was a military camp a kilometer away from that point of attack. So they did not react when the attack was taking place. So this was not the first time in Pahalgam. If you recall, in 1995, there was a group Al-Faran, which kidnapped about 6 Western tourists from that place, and subsequently they were executed. There is a book written, The Meadow, where it has been described the ordeal of the entire story, and it was established it was Indian Ra behind the creation of Al-Faran. So in all the false flag operation right from 1971, the hijacking of Ganga aircraft until Pahalgam, the Indian Ra is involved to malign Pakistan. That is the fact.
A definite aim, a definite intent to malign Pakistan, to destabilize Pakistan, to not see it grow in any way possible.
Exactly. This is despite all the fact, and now the way Indian media is now playing, they have created a hype. There's war, they are war mongering, that there is a hysteria of war, and they are trying to shape public opinion against Pakistan, and they are accusing Pakistan is 100% involved in this so-called terrorist, this false flag operation, and situation may go up to a level where India may resort to some attack or some activity, but the only message to India is the Pakistan will not remain passive as far as if the sovereignty, territorial integrity of the country is violated. The response from Pakistan this time will be massive and lethal.
Inshallah. Dr. Asma, Shakir, Khawaja, Senator Sharif Rehman, who has been a former minister as well, says, and I quote, "Unfortunately, the reflexive finger pointing already at play against Pakistan has become the boilerplate response for New Delhi that is unable to contain its own spectacular failures against a fundamentalist meltdown." She also says, "Voice of reason that urges strategic stability, responsible engagement across the line of control are ignored, even ridiculed." Former Federal Minister Khawaja Saad Rafiq also calls the attempt by India to blame Pakistan highly irresponsible, absurd and baseless. What inconsistencies have been identified in the Indian media's portrayal of the Pahalgam incident? I'd like to understand. And how do these inconsistencies in Indian media coverage on different, they said they had killed 2 people after that, and there was a lack of forensic evidence therein as well. There's absence of injuries, challenge the narrative of Indian media as far as the whole Pahalgam incident and what is happening after this incident is concerned.
Yep. Few years back, I conducted a study on representation of Kashmir conflict on Indian media, and the most important finding is that there is no space for Kashmiri leadership to come appear on Indian media and share their case. The Kashmir conflict at Indian media always been projected or shared from the perspective of BJP or Indian government. So that has shrunk the space for the Kashmiri leadership, and the failure at the part of Indian media is that they are part of government to dehumanize the Kashmir conflict. When the freedom fighters are killed in Kashmir, when the collective punishment is carried out by Indian government, when Indian government attacks or try to affect the demography of Kashmir, to dilute the Kashmiri people as a majority and convert them into a minority, within Kashmir, when there are missing persons and extrajudicial killings in Kashmir, Indian media doesn't highlight that. And as a result, Indian public is not informed public. Their decisions, their perspective and their lens to view Kashmir conflict is not only
modulated by the Indian media that shows a certain
and
perspective.
it is not only dehumanized, it only represents BJP's thought process. Indian media is even unable to communicate to Indian public that Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee stated that the foundation of the resolution of Kashmir conflict should be based on Kashmiriyat, humanity and democracy. And BJP government under Modi is violating or disrespecting all these. Kashmiri Indian media doesn't tell Indian public that Kashmir is suffering from war, conflict trauma. Kashmir, this is the 4th generation in Kashmir which has been raised under the shadows of gun. Kashmiris are, a Kashmiri student told me that when he went to study higher education in an Indian university in, I think, Pune, there he realized that how the Indian military and police treats common Indian and how they treat the Kashmiris under their boots in occupied Kashmir.
There's a definite difference.
So this perspective of Kashmiri people have not reached Indian public. So whatever been fed by the fall, and we all know that Modi is famous internationally for the disinformation they propagate through different
Speaking
forms.
of disinformation, I'd like to understand, Masud Saab, doesn't the international body or the world understand or know what India has been up to? We've seen what they've done in Canada, we've seen what they've done in the US, we've seen what they've done in the UK, in Australia. There are reports against their own raw agencies and their involvement in extrajudicial killings across the border in Pakistan and across the 7 seas in all of these areas. Then comes Pahalgam, and within 20 minutes we've got hashtags such as Pak sponsored terror and so many other hashtags that fill up the social media space as well. There is a definite media manipulation, especially by raw linked accounts, as we have seen on different social media. And you talked about the revelations by different Indian officials. There was also the revelation by the ex-CBI officer Satish Verma regarding the state involvement in the 2008 Mumbai attacks as well. I'd like to understand what are the international and regional implications of such alleged false flag operations on regional peace.
Certainly, it will have serious implications as far as the region is concerned in South Asia, especially when we talk of Pakistan and India, two nuclearly armed states. That is one important thing. And second, internationally, when we look at internationally, the countries, they move ahead, or they see their national interests when we talk of India or Pakistan. So India in the region is, as we have been talking in the past, they are acting as a policeman for the Americans to contain China, especially mainly in Pakistan, to contain CPEC and also other activities in Pakistan. So that is one factor. And besides, that's why, because at times we have seen the United States or other Western countries ignoring the Indian involvement. And we have seen, when we talk of transnational repression, the killing of Sikhs in Hardeep Singh Najjar assassination in Canada, then the plot which was filed against Pannu, the Gurpant Singh Pannu, Sikh for Justice, then Ota Singh Khanda, who was assassinated in United Kingdom, and subsequently Paramjit Singh Pajwar was assassinated in Lahore. Again, so then the killing of 22 Kashmiris, the Guardian carried this story. So the Indian involvement is 100%. So there's a serious implication. The implication is that Pakistan will not tolerate any violation of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. That they will make it very clear to the international community, to the United Nations, as well as the United States, that we will not have any hesitation to react and respond to if our sovereignty is violated. That is a very important thing. At the same time, international community, the United Nations, the European Union, the OIC, they need to take the things very seriously as far as the region is concerned. So, I do not know what is going to happen in future, but as far as Pakistan is concerned, Pakistan is taking things very seriously, and if anything happens against Pakistan, certainly there is going to be a response from Pakistan. Let the international community to understand the dynamics, the seriousness of issue, the developing situation in South Asia, and the threat to peace and stability, and certainly the major, the jugular vein is Jammu and Kashmir. Unless that is not addressed, the threat will remain, will be hanging in the region.
That is so true. And coming to India illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, how does this Indian narrative post the Pahalgam incident affect the genuine human rights concerns in the Hill Valley?
India would justify their human rights violation under by creating a rhetoric or narrative with the help of this incident. And my first impression when I read about this incident was that India is in search of a new narrative against Kashmiris and Pakistan. So, this is all they want to do. But we have to see that Pakistan, when they point their finger towards Pakistan, Pakistan did not ask them to commit human rights violation. Pakistan did not ask them to commit denial of basic needs. Pakistan did not ask them to be disrespectful towards Kashmiris and their right which is being accepted by UNO. Pakistan never said that you should not give right to self-determination to Kashmiris. And as a student of conflict studies, we in order to explain contemporary conflicts, the best theory is the denial of basic need. Whenever any country denies the basic needs of any community, the result would be chaos, agony, reaction, anxiety, and if that not been heard and if inaudibility would prevail, then the violence.
So, it also means that this incident is going to be used by India against the people in Indian illegally occupied
definitely to malign their legal legitimate freedom movement. And to justify India's excessive use of violence, torture, human rights violation, use of banned weapons by IHL against Kashmiris, and be more ruthless towards Kashmiri population. I was reading that how Indian military has started operation in Pahalgam area, and how they are misbehaving and misconducting against the Kashmiri people, and how fearful they are that now their sons would be killed by Indian forces for the act they never committed. So, you know, there is.
So, it gives them a pretext to inflict more violence, more barbarism than before, and they have the reason it is, you know, because of what has happened.
To pretext to use Afghanistan's soil against Pakistan more ruthlessly.
But they have been doing, and that they will continue to do till such time that they are stopped externally. Brigadier Masud Saab, terrorism, a lot of people say, has no nationality and no religion, but nevertheless, whenever there has been any incident in India, Muslims and Pakistan have always been involved in it without any investigation whatsoever. How should Pakistan counter these allegations nationally, regionally, in organizations such as the United Nations and the OIC?
These two words, Pakistan and Muslims, they have been using right from 1947 for election purposes, or if you want to create a hype inside India against Muslims. So, these two are very important phrases. They are frequently used, and we have seen recently Modi Sahab using them, and with derogatory remarks insulting Muslims at several occasions. But important thing is that irrespective of this happening, the important thing is that Pakistan has to take this issue to internationally, to the United Nations. We in the past have been depositing the dossiers of Indian involvement. Right from 2009 was the one when we first submitted first dossier, when at Sharm el Sheikh Gilani Sahab submitted that, handed over that dossier to Manmohan Singh, and last was in 2020 of Indian involvement. So, we have ample evidence of Indian involvement of terrorism inside Pakistan through proxies while using Afghan soil, And I lost 20 years while the Ashraf Ghani and the Karzai was ruling Afghanistan. So virtually the control was withdrawn. So there was 66 camps across Afghanistan, specifically Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, and then Karachi also. So they created BRAS in 2018. They created consortium of terrorist organization BRAS Plus and the Fitna al-Khawarij, and ultimate aim was to destabilize Pakistan. Then Chuck Hagel, the Secretary of Defense at that time, he is on record, he said India is using Afghanistan as a second front against Pakistan. So we have the evidence, and we not in a position to submit another dossier to international community of Indian terrorism. So as you are telling, they know India, they has already been exposed by transnational repression. That is one thing. Secondly, they were involved in espionage. They were spying for Israel while sitting in Qatar. Or in addition, we have seen the EU lab. They exposed them. 750 fake media outlets in Europe, content critical to Pakistan. Stanford Internet Observatory exposed them using social media against Pakistan, and sent Washington Post and Twitter, etc. They also carried stories of Indian involvement. They specifically wrote the Indian 15 Corps of Srinagar, using probably using showcasing the 15 Corps doing something good in Kashmir and maligning Pakistan, etc. And then terrorism in Pakistan, they have been doing beside fifth generation warfare. Now they have confronted Pakistan with fifth generation warfare. They are following two important things. They are following the Mandela theory, the theory which was given by one of the I just forgot his name. Chanakya Kautilya. He said, resort to propaganda, cyber warfare, infiltrate your agents, carry out sabotage. This was the concept. Second, it was Joseph Goebbels. He said, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, eventually people will start believing it. So this is what they are doing it. If you use the hashtags or the media coverage, so they try to shape public opinion. That's why they have created, they have still a war hysteria now in India through the use of these hashtags and media. So, but Pakistan at the same time, we will act as a responsible state. We will take the issue to important forums, and that of course if there is some violation, then certainly according response will be given.
All right. As a reaction, there has been international statements as well from China, from the US, from other countries as well. What steps should the international community take, Dr. Asma, to verify such incidents before forming any diplomatic or policy judgments?
See, first of all, international community should work on prevention of such events, and the only prevention available is the implementation of UN resolutions on Kashmir, the granting the Kashmiri people right to self-determination. This conflict management theory or idea is not of any use, because of this negative piece. Any incident, whether it is false flag operation or being carried out by indigenous Kashmiri people, that brings South Asia at the brink of nuclear war. Although with the efforts of international community and the rationality of Pakistani decision maker, we are able to keep the threshold below from the nuclear boiling point, but that cannot always be case. And right now, I think until or unless India uses official communication channels to communicate any concern to Pakistan, Pakistan should not respond to that. We do not need to play like more defensive than it is required. Then above all, it is the issue to understand by Indian government that they should not accept that any irrationality or violation of Pakistan's sovereignty or integrity would have similar consequences as it had during Pulwama crisis or Operation Swift Retort. So they should not be misguided by their calculation about Pakistan's response, because this cannot be a case that by staging a false flag operation after every few years, Modi regime in order to take a lease of new political life in India stages such problem for against Pakistan or violate Pakistan's sovereignty. So they this is the responsibility, as you asked, what international community should do. International community should knock some sense in the heads of Indian radical political party, which is unfortunately in government, that they cannot test the patience, rationality and understanding of Pakistani decision maker such frequently. At least one, they need to change the script of the drama they staged after every few years. They need to, at least they should do some hard work and rewrite that the script of that drama, and they cannot, and or international community cannot only rely on the rationality of Pakistani decision makers in order to save peace across the globe, because if India, any misadventure by India caused strategic instability in the region, that would not only be limited to this region, that whole world would be affected by it. So international community first and foremost teach some lessons of rationality and wise statecraft to Modi regime, because and you know, like you are doing this program, you are an important media personality of Pakistan, but here, while sitting here, you are not giving advices to the government that how to fight, or military that how to fight a war against India. But this is what exactly happening on Indian media since last night.
But this is not the first time this is happening, Dr. Asma. It
But
has always
why?
happened.
They create war hysteria and then we work to come out of that bubble of war hysteria. Then we work to tone down and calm down the sentiments instigated by Indian media.
Agreed, agreed. Brigadier Masud, when Dr. Asma talks about teaching lessons of rationality, the 268th Core Conference was recently held. In that, there was a reaffirmation of a stance against foreign proxies in Balochistan, for example. But I just want to highlight that and put that into context and ask you, given the repeated mentions of foreign backing and in particular India, what should Pakistan's stance now be, now that there is a rhetoric in India that they are trying to build upon and not only defame Pakistan but also pressurize Pakistan externally and through foreign powers that Pakistan is friendly with? In your take, what should Pakistan's maneuvering be nationally and internationally to counter all that India is trying to do?
Nationally, our media has to play an important role. If you see our media, they are talking of politics, of canals, etc., instead of talking of the war which is unleashed by the Indian media. You see Indian channels, their concentration is on Pahalgam and Pakistan. So there is a requirement to counter Indian narrative. That is one thing. Internationally, yes, Pakistan has a case. We have the evidence of Indian involvement. And most recently, we have the evidence of Jafar Express case, where 3 weapons, M40, M4, M16, 3 were confirmed, they were established, it was manufactured, according to serial number, they were the American manufacturer.
Yes.
So they have acknowledged there were 63 weapons.
There was a Washington Post report, a BBC report
Washington
on that.
Post, BBC, they have carried. So we have the evidence. Foreign Office couple of months back, they explain and they give evidence of Indian involvement in assassinating Kashmiris inside Pakistan. So we have a strong case to present it to international community, to the United Nations, the Security Council. We are the non-permanent member. We can maneuver through China and we can present our case. So we have a strong case. India is already exposed by transnational repression and other activities. So we can defend our position in a better way.
All right. Thank you so very much to both of my guests, Brigadier Masud Ahmed Khan Sahab, defense analyst, and our very dear Dr. Asma Shakir Khawaja Sahiba, who came all the way to Islamabad, Executive Director, CSS Azad Jammu and Kashmir, to have discussed this very, very important issue that has not only linkings to India's transnational and extrajudicial, but also to the past of similar incidents that have happened, and it should be brought to light how India has been maneuvering since so many decades, as Masud Sahab and you have said, and how the world needs to be cognizant of the fact that the real culprit, the real person that needs to be caught is India more than anybody else. Thank you very much for both of you. Let's come to our second story, and our second story concerns the relationship between Pakistan and Turkey in the midst of the 2-day official visit that was held by our Prime Minister Sharif Sahab to Turkiye. Now, the Pakistani delegation included the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Mohammad Ishaq Dar, the Minister for Information, as well as Special Assistant Tariq Fatmi and Pakistan's Ambassador to Turkey, Dr. Yusuf Junaid. Now, our Prime Minister Sharif says the comprehensive Pakistan-Turkey strategic partnership will continue to deepen in scope and in strength. He said that in a social media platform post. He appreciated his leadership and foresight in guiding Turkey to a path of continued progress and prosperity. Pakistan and Turkey, ladies and gentlemen, while underscoring the enduring fraternal ties between both brotherly countries, have also reaffirmed their commitment to further deepen the bilateral cooperation across the various sectors. And this resolve was expressed during a meeting between both the leaders, that is Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and President of Turkey Recep Tayyip Erdogan, on Tuesday. Our Prime Minister had highlighted the potential for cooperation in the fields of energy and mining, joint ventures in defence and agri-production, enhancing regional and bilateral connectivity to boost trade, and deepening cooperation in emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and cyber security. Both leaders also took note of the follow-up actions regarding the decisions of the 7th High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council, which is a very important council as far as political understandings between both the countries are concerned, that happened in Islamabad in February of 2025. Now, we've been joined to discuss more on the gamut of relations between Pakistan and Turkey in the context of the visit of our Prime Minister to our brotherly country by Mr. Wajih Abbasi Sahab, who's a foreign affairs analyst. Thank you very much, Wajih Sahab, to have joined us. Wajih Sahab, how do you assess the current status of the Pakistan-Turkey strategic partnership following the visit of our Prime Minister?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Historically, the relationship between Pakistan and Turkey have been very strong. It goes back, in fact, to the pre-independence era. The Pakistani people, Muslims of subcontinent, had great regard for the Turkish people and Turkey and their struggle for the independence of their country, and they contributed a lot in that. And that is that respect and love is mutual. So probably Pakistanis and Pakistan is probably not respected that much in any other country than Turkey probably, and the same goes here. So that is the background. And the Pakistan-Turkey relationship has always been very strong, and Turkey has been supporting Pakistan in all international forums and every issue of Pakistan's interest, including Kashmir and other issues, very strongly. And same has been from Pakistan side also. Pakistan has also been supporting Turkey all along. And in recent years, that historical relationship, historical love has been transformed into different cooperation in different fields, further increasing cooperation. We have been cooperating in defense sectors. Pakistan has bought ships from naval ships from Turkey. There has been this cooperation in aerial weapons also, and there is also now we have that cooperation agreement between Pakistan, strategic cooperation agreement between Pakistan and Turkey, through which this relationship are being strengthened further. So that is in this context in which the Prime Minister visited Turkey today, from yesterday, and they deliberated on those things which were discussed obviously between when President Erdogan visited Pakistan in February. So this is an ongoing process, and this has been done over the years, just to further increase and strengthen the relations, and these relations are in fact strengthening day by day.
All right. Also, in your view, how actionable are the proposals that have been put forward during this visit also for joint ventures in defense, energy, mining and agri-production?
Yeah, that is, that is, these things are going on actually, and the previous cooperations between Pakistan and Turkey in the field of defense and naval ship making and all those areas has been quite successful. And in future also, and Turkey is industrially quite strong, quite developed than Pakistan. They have a good industrial base, and we can learn a lot from Turkey in all those fields. And we, as we all know, we have a good human capital which is growing and which is educated and which is which knows different arts. So our human capital and Turkish industrial base can work together and do wonders.
Wajih Abbasi Sahab, how in your point of view can Pakistan benefit from Turkiye's experience and achievements in emerging fields, for example artificial intelligence, cyber security? Do you feel enhanced collaboration or cooperation in technology or cyber security could become a definite feature or important feature of the partnership between the two countries?
I think so. I think so, because these issues of cyber security and this artificial intelligence and that sort of things, that sort of new technologies, they will in future they will be highly protected areas. The nations generally will not collaborate with especially with third world countries or countries like Pakistan, probably because of our our strong sort of independence minded defense programs and all that things. So we will have to look to the countries with which we have confidence and which have this industrial base and which have the know-how to do those things and to promote those things. So Turkey is a natural ally. It has the industrial base, it has the know-how, and we can learn a lot, and that can be successful. And of course, reversely also, I mean, Turkey itself has its own issues in its region.
All right. Last question to you: how important, in your point of view, is Turkiye's support for Pakistan on international issues, and how has this visit of our Prime Minister helped consolidate that diplomatic backing?
As I told you before, Turkey over the years, over the decades, has been very strongest supporter of Pakistan on the issue of Kashmir and nuclear weapons and on terrorism and all those issues. And vice versa, Pakistan has also been supporting Turkey on Nicosia and all those issues. So this visit and will also, I mean, that makes it very important for the Prime Minister to visit, to be in Turkey, and especially that yesterday that what happened in Indian occupied Kashmir, and the way India has been trying to accuse Pakistan, and the Indian media is running a campaign against Pakistan without any investigation and other thing. That time it was very important for Pakistan that I mean just coincidentally the Prime Minister was in Turkey, and that we got the Turkish diplomatic support in such an event.
All right. Pakistan and Turkey, of course, will continue to consolidate their partnership, their friendship, their collaboration, and both countries understand each other's issues and problems, so that is why they back each other. Thank you very much, Wajih Abbasi Sahab, to have joined us. This brings us to the end of today's show. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow with stories and segments that pertain to us, you and Pakistan. Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.